Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze, Breezeway Productions' The Breeze, where we continue our 2021 Slamdance Film Festival official selection series. And today we have an amazing documentarian here with us to talk about his film, Me to Play, director-producer Jim Bernfield. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show.
For sure, for sure. Thanks for coming on. So tell our viewers a little bit about Me to Play.
Well, Me to Play is a story of two professional, longtime New York actors who have Parkinson's disease who put up Samuel Beckett's Endgame. And what's interesting about that is that Beckett wrote the play Endgame after his mother and favorite aunt had died of the disease. This is his way of processing what Parkinson's meant to him. The thing about Beckett, a lot of people think of him as like this heavy, serious, like Nobel laureate of literature. But I think he thought of himself as like a hilarious comedian about this stuff. So while it seems like a dour subject, it's a hilarious play, and these guys really nail it, which is lovely about Me to Play.
Very nice, very nice. How did you get involved being the documentarian for this project? How did it all
Well,
start?
it all started back. I met Dan watching football in a bar in the East Village in New York City.
Very nice.
Years later, my dad came down with Parkinson's and passed away. Dan and I became friends with this group of 49er fans at this bar. And over time, at one point, maybe in a Chargers game, Dan leaned over to me and said, like, I got to tell you something. I have Parkinson's. Well, he really didn't need to tell me that because I could see my dad's sort of features in Dan's face. He and I are, both creative artists. We would share scripts and ideas and passion projects and such over time. And at one point, he brought the idea that he and a friend of his who also has Parkinson's were doing running lines in Beckett's Endgame. They wanted to put it up as an off-Broadway play, and I was like, that sounds incredible.
Nice.
And so I followed them, watched them. I ingrained myself into their lives and experiences through that time. And Endgame was born. I'm sorry, Me to Play was born.
Very cool, very cool. So, doing the off-Broadway experience and dealing with two actors of a certain age that are with Parkinson's, what was the specific reason that they chose Endgame as the production that they wanted to do?
Well, Endgame is a two-hander, meaning that like it's two guys on stage for basically the whole time. So it's not like they had to fight over like who's going to get the starring role. So that was the first thing, which is probably somewhat important to them.
Right
The
on.
second one is that Endgame really is a metaphor for life with Parkinson's disease. Beckett is a little bit abstruse, but it's pretty clear that he wrote it as such. Are we inside the head of someone with Parkinson's? Are the characters who are in the play, one is blind and is frozen and immobilized in a chair, the other one basically shuffles in as an assistant, all the time. Are those Parkinsonian features? Are they living with Parkinson's, or is it some other like, post-apocalyptic health that they're in? So it was the opportunity to take this on, which appealed to them. And as Dan says in the movie, at some point he's reading the play and it just starts to talk to him. His experience with Parkinson's is exactly what Beckett is writing. And so he grabs this play because he feels like it's talking about his life. It's talking about his experience. Chris felt the same way. And so we dove into Beckett's Endgame.
Yeah. Are you hopeful and excited for Broadway theaters to open in New York as the future is coming and we're all questioning what's going to happen with Broadway? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, who knows what will happen in the end, but I certainly
Sure.
think that the reason that I live in New York City is for live shoulder to shoulder experiences of art and culture and the like. And Broadway and off Broadway, and then just going to clubs, etc., seeing music. I cannot wait for New York to reopen. It has
Yes.
been a year of sort of the dark year for all these amazing creative actors. And for me, I'm like, it's wonderful that Slamdance is virtual, but I'd love to be talking to you on the red carpet in Park City. Alex, I gotta
Yeah.
say, I'd love it.
I would as well. I feel pretty optimistic about live events coming back. They just announced today that movie theaters in New York City are opening up. I think at
Really?
25%. Yeah. In Jersey, they're allowing fans to go see football games for the Giants and the Jets come in March. So that's good news. And slowly we'll be seeing a return to normalcy. It's just taking a little bit of time. So about the two actors that are in your documentary, let's talk about their careers a little bit before Parkinson set in. Did they enjoy doing performances and then have kind of lived to be on the stage as their calling?
Yeah, absolutely. These are guys who each spent 30 years as actors. They're people you'd recognize from Law and Order or movies. I say about Dan that you'd recognize him from being beaten up by Jean-Claude Van Damme, and on the other hand, beating up Woody Allen. So like these guys have these careers that span years and Broadway, off Broadway, TV, film, etc. And this disease, which is degenerative and there's no cure for, it's like a a Greek tragedy, in that this thing which they're using, their voices, their faces, their bodies, is the exact thing that Parkinson's is stripping away from them. So it's terribly unfair, but it's also, in a way, for these actors, incredibly sort of dramatic, because it's exactly what they need to do, what they love to do. Both these guys, I think, plan to sort of, if you will, die with their boots on, meaning like be backstage, at the Winter Garden at some point, and they're like, at age 95 and keel over and be carried out,
If you're doing what you love when it happens, you'll never have worked a day in your life. And it seems like these gentlemen have loved being entertainers for their entire careers. And then, being able to do a performance while going through Parkinson's, as you have a close relationship with that disease, as you said earlier, it means a lot to you to be the documentarian for this project, Me to Play. So how have you been enjoying Slamdance? It's been going on for a little while now. You've been having a good time with the festival?
I have been having a great time at the festival. Slamdance is an incredible family to join, to be invited into. I've really loved meeting both my fellow filmmakers and alumni. Talk to people like you as well. It's terrific, and it's been a terrific festival. I've watched a lot of movies. I've enjoyed. One thing which I think is really super exciting is that if you're in Sheboygan or Pittsburgh or Eugene, Oregon, you can see the movies. You don't have to fly in your private jet to Park City, hobnob with Gal Gadot, and in order to see this movie. Instead, you can stream it, and that's really wonderful. I think that these guys, though, I would have loved to have had the lights come up after a showing for the Q&A. I think the hand they would have gotten for the heart and soul they put into this movie and their performances would just rock the rafters. And I think it would have been a huge shot in the arm for these guys, because, as you point out, sort of doing this, being an actor with Parkinson's is like having the rug pulled out from under you. And it's they deal with it incredibly differently. Dan is sort of takes it really seriously, and it's devastating. You get to see his heart. Chris, like this comedic leprechaun, is always like quick with a joke or something, way to like sort of dodge so that he doesn't have to sort of go deep. But look, we all deal with stuff in different ways, and that's what we try to show. It's both idiosyncratic. It's what goes on with these two specific people and their wives, who are incredibly important here. But also, it's super general. If you've lived through anything like this, one of those responses is going to be the response that you identify with, and maybe you can see yourself in all the different parts.
Yeah, I hope that they'll be able to experience it in a screening room, and then have the lights come up after it plays, so that they can feel that live performance again, the applause, the questions, the panel afterwards, etc., so that they can feel that that burst of life after they've seen a documentary, the documentary that you put together for them, and it's very great to hear that things are going well with that. So thank you, Jim, for speaking with us today about Me to Play. Slamdance Film Festival is going on till the 25th. So I think there's still a couple of days that are left. What day is today? The 22nd? 22nd, 23rd. It's got a couple days left for screenings. And definitely check that out. They have an online portal with 100+ films, which are pretty amazing for everyone to check out. Narratives, documentaries, shorts, animations, and everything in between. So definitely check that out. And so make sure to check out Me to Play. And Jim, thank you again so much for being on the show.
Alex, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.